You would want to consider adding this 7-ingredient puff puff recipe to your list of recipes. A very warm welcome to the channel. My name is Yamika. If you are new to this channel, don't hesitate to subscribe, like and share this video. Getting a round puff puff shape doesn't necessarily have to do with how you scoop them. It has to do with these 4 important points I am about to show you. Now the first one is the yeast that you use. When your yeast has expired or you are using a non-active yeast, then you are not going to get a round shape puff puff. The second one has to do with the proofing process. You need to proof the batter as stated in the recipe. The third one is the consistency of the batter. And the last one is the hotness of the oil you used. Now in a bowl, sift all the dry ingredients. The purpose of sifting the dry ingredients is to remove any lumps in the sugar, the yeast, and the salt. Also, it makes the flour very light, airy, and easy to mix with the other ingredients. Once I'm done with the mixing of the dry ingredients, I start to add the milk. To get a very perfect puff puff, you need to be using warm milk, or better still, warm water. Do not use cold water as it will not help the batter to rise. Now I add the milk in batches to avoid a watery consistency. So when you're making your puff puff, try as much as possible not to use too much water or liquid. However, when you achieve that watery consistency, there is a way out. So at this point, I'm going to add additional half cup of warm water. Then mix it very well with my fingers to achieve a very smooth consistency. Now I want to point out something to you here. You can see my mixture is very watery. That is not a very good consistency for a good and perfect puff puff. I'll go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of the all-purpose flour. And then give it a very good mix. So as I said in the beginning of the video, consistency is really important when it comes to perfect puff puff. So at this stage, I'm going to beat the batter for about 30 seconds to 1 minute to activate the gluten. So one thing too is you can taste the sweetness of the batter, whether it's okay for you or not. If it's not too much or okay for you, you can add in more of the sugar. So as I said, the consistency of the batter should not be too watery or too thick. So if you are new to this channel, a very warm welcome once again. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Do not forget to like this video and also share it out on your timelines, on your WhatsApp status, everywhere you go. Thank you. Now I'm going to cover it with rubber and then keep it in a very warm place for about 1 to 2 hours. And that takes us to our third point, the proofing process. Proof the batter as stated in the recipe. So it's been 2 hours now, and as you can see, it is well proofed. Now that moves us to our fourth point, which is the hotness of the oil. In a pan, add oil and heat it for about 5 minutes. Now go ahead and deflate the butter. So to check the hotness of the oil, this is what I normally do. I scoop 1 handful of the butter into the oil and fry it till it starts browning. That is when I know that the oil is hot enough to fry the puff puff. So you can as well try it at home. That is how to test the hotness of the oil. And then I start frying the puff puff. Also, you should note that puff puff is deep frying. So you would want to use a lot of oil. Now see the puff puff. Hi! So when you get a leftover puff puff batter, you can keep it in the fridge and use it in the next 2 or 3 days. Once you achieve a brown color, very golden, beautiful color, bring them out and then put them on a paper towel to drain the excess oil and continue with the rest of the batter. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you do try your hands on and also take note of the points. I hope to see you around next time for another great recipe. Till then, always remember to do everything in love and try as much as possible to watch the next video. Not forgetting, whenever you think food, think yummy cash.